Coaches. So I'm talking to you today a little bit about power, really talking about that last play where the 49ers had the ball. They were trying to drive down score on the Packers, and they got stuffed on fourth down, and then inevitably got the ball back and won the game, yada, yada, yada. We all know how that goes. But what I'm specifically interested in is talking about power. And I will tell you, all powers are not alike, okay? So let's just talk about 21P power right here. Okay, nice, simple, home-loving American power. Everybody kind of looks at power, or at least what I hear, they're like, hey, power is power. It's all the kind of the same thing. That is not the case as I see it. So I wanted to share some viewpoints here with you. Okay, so we're talking about the difference between C-gap power and A-gap power. At Surface to Air System, we believe that A-gap power is the jam. It's what you need to be able to run to be successful in modern football. But we also carry C-gap power. Now, I will tell you, we probably run A-gap power, I don't know, 8 times for every 1 or 2 times we'll run C-gap power. And sometimes it's even more. Okay, now, I guess let's start with what's the difference. To me, this is C-gap power. We're going to grab this double team. We're going to run it back. We're going to down block there. We're going to kick out, and we're going to pull that guard on that long pull around, and we're going to go get that Sam backer right there. And then we're going to open, and we're going to kind of hit that thing B gap to C gap right there. Now, the problem I have with that play is this is what we would do on defense. We would work hard. We would tell our end to get inside of that thing and blow it up and spill it and make that tailback's path do that. We want to get that ball horizontally as fast as we possibly can so that our Sam and our safety and our corner, all of our third level or what we call our tertiary support can get downhill and get into the mix and start tackling people. Okay, so what we would do is we would run a lot more A-gap power. Now, it's a subtle difference, but it's a huge difference. So let's draw that up and let's make sure we understand, like I said, the key differences at play there. And at first glance, sometimes it's really hard to tell. A lot of times people will look at it and they're not really sure how to tell the difference. I can tell you for us, the big difference is it's the type of pull you're going to get from the guard. And also the back's reaction. So we're going to still step and pick. We're still going to block back. We're going to post the 3 technique with our guard, and we're going to bulldoze that cat's hip. And we're going to try to work that thing at a very, very extreme, horizontal down block right there. Okay, now we're going to do a couple different things with our tight end. Okay, if you're playing us in a standard 4-3 structure, we're going to base that guy right there. We're just going to base him up and block him. And then we're going to more of a square shuffle pull and get vertical again as soon as we possibly can. So if you remember, and I'll just change colors here for you. If you remember, this was the pull path that you got by the guard. That yellow dot was kind of the pull path you got on C-gap power. Well, on A-gap power, you're going to get a much tighter path. And now we're going to do things like this. We're going to lead through on that guy, and we're going to come downhill tight. We talk about staying underneath all knockout blocks. Okay, so we're going to try, as that Mike backer jumps in the hole, we're going to try to actually knock him out and run inside of that block. So for us, it's an A-gap to A-gap run. We're going to keep the ball vertical in the A-gap. Okay, and we're going to try to cut it back in the backside A. So if I gave you another color here, the back's path is going to look like that to that. Whereas his path in C-gap power is basically that to that. Okay, big difference, huge difference because of the ability of the defense to spill things. Okay, so let me show you if you had more of a 4-4 defense, the difference you're going to get here. And like I said, it is an astounding difference between the two. Okay, so we're going to get something like this. We're going to get that shade again. 3, we're going to get a reduce. Will, Mike, Sam, we're going to get the walk down safety. A lot of you high school guys are probably seeing that look, I would guess, quite a bit. So There's our double team. It's working horizontal. If I was running C-gap power, I'd down block that 7 technique, and my fullback would be kicking the strong safety. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw you C-gap power in here. It would probably look like this. Okay, well, to me, that's a huge wide path. I don't like how wide that ball is going to hit because, again, if I'm the DC against that, I'm going to tell my 7 technique to fight like hell, clog up that C-gap, and get that power play going horizontally. That's where we feel like we've got a great chance to tackle that ball and do an awful lot of damage. Okay, so let's go back and let's draw the same play up with A-gap power blocking. Now, we're going to run that double team sideways again. I'm probably going to arc that tight end. We'll base this. Now I'm going to pull tight through the hole and try to knock out that Sam. I'm going to kick out, and now my path is under all knockout blocks, and I'm cutting back. So if that Mike flows over the top, I could actually end up cutting all the way back behind him. Okay, so fundamentally, here's the difference you're getting. This is the area of the defense you're attacking with C-gap power. These 2 A-gaps are the area you're attacking with A-gap power. Completely different football play. Now, in my opinion, I would carry both. And you might say, okay, coach, well, what's the advantage in carrying both? I'll even show you. Let's go jump into a different set here. Let's get into the gun. Okay. Give you a real easy look at this. Okay, if we start getting into these sets, what I like about the ability to stay in a little bit of C-gap power world, you're going to get the nickel out there. There's the Mike. There's the Will. I think there's a huge advantage, right? You can run this double team. We can, if we're getting games here, we can down block this guy, we can down block this guy. Okay, however it works, end up pulling the guard around the horn, almost becomes half of a buck sweep play. If we wanted to move the H-back into the backfield a little bit, we could do that. So let's put this guy here. We can take this H-back and we can move him. Put him in the backfield. Let me change this here. We can put him back here. And now, again, if they're playing a lot of C-gap stuff, we can down block that, run that double team, kick out the nickel if he presents, and pull all the way around. I think that still has a place. I think you still have a place for that C-gap power. But where I think that you've got a huge advantage, if you're in this gun set that we're demonstrating right here, I think you've got a great play by, again, sticking with that tight A-gap power and now building yourself an RPO off of that. Okay, I think that gives you a lot better options because, again, you're keeping the ball super, super tight right down here. And the biggest thing that I like about it is, let's emphasize this guy right here. That guy's the key, okay? And it's really simple math. If you draw an offensive line up, and this is what I tell people, and you're talking about C-gap power, okay? And let's just put one guy, just that C-gap player right there. Okay, if he wants to come tackle the C-gap, it's right there. He can blow up the mesh, screw things up. But if he wants to stop A-gap power, it's between those 2 A's. I mean, just look at the distance he has to travel, okay? I think you should really carry both. If you're going to be a huge power team, I think you should carry both C-gap and A-gap power. We have one tag word that really kind of blotches them together so that you can run both very easily. The interior of our line doesn't care. It changes the guard pull and it changes what the tight end fullback relationship is. But I think that that's one of the big kind of rallying cry emphasis points of power is, you wouldn't run inside zone without protecting it with outside zone. You wouldn't run trap without some sort of sweep. So don't run C-gap power without A or A without C. I think you've got to be able to do both to give yourself a chance to be successful in a lot of things that you're doing in the game of football. So again, hope this was helpful for you, coaches. Hope a conversation on power is useful. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Coach Hargitt, or you can follow our system account and you can jump on there and find us at S2A system. Okay. Would love to chat with you. Would love to talk more ball with you. We got a host of videos, books for sale, obviously all over the website, but also, you know, we have year-long subscriptions. I think one of the biggest things that you would get out of that year-long subscription is what we're doing right here. Coaches call me all the time and say, hey, I've got a game this week. I'm playing an odd front team. I need to be able to block power. And I had some problems last time I saw an Okie front. How would you do it? And we're able to have these conversations like this and troubleshoot problems. So, you know, fundamentally what we do in S2A is just trying to provide a service and helping coaches be successful. So again, coaches, let us know, reach out on YouTube or Twitter if we can help you out. Hope you all have a great day.